on the table outside. One I'm going to read with feeling, a single page. Family-owned businesses, some warning signals that professional help may be needed. Then there's one on survival and prosperity tips for a family-owned business. I'm going to briefly mention some things in that outline, and we'll go into detail. And I'll give you an example of why I'm not going into detail, but they're interesting issues. All of you, most of you, will have leases, either now to be renewed or new leases. And there are issues that are not readily apparent sometimes to your professionals or yourself that have to be addressed. But I won't stop to deal with those this morning. But I urge you to look at that list because it has some hidden issues in it which, if you pay attention to them, can redound to your benefit. And the last one is called Limited Liability Company and Shareholder Agreements, Buy, Sell, and Other Provisions. I'll spend most of my time on that with one vivid example at the end, the Mel-Len Corporation, where there's no buy, sell, and a little drama. But on the one that I said I was going to read with feeling, here goes. If your business includes a parent, an uncle or an aunt, a brother, a sister, in-laws, you're in a special category, one that exposes the business to unique challenges and problems. Most people like to solve their own problems. However, there are times when seeking the assistance of a knowledgeable professional is a better way. And the professionals may be a lawyer. It may be someone who specializes in human relations, HR relations, and the dynamics. It may be a compensation specialist. There are firms that do that. It may be a trusted advisor who has some other insight. It can be an insurance person. It can be an accountant who offers an array of advice and experience because that person has seen it all. And in some instances, it may be an attorney. When a family member is not performing his or her responsibilities and a non-family member in such position would be fired. When business matters can't be discussed without an argument. When other employees, especially valuable ones, including family members, are jealous or resentful or highly critical of family members. When the structure or rule or practice compromises the personal and family relationships, when there is serious and chronic open conflict between or among family members. Those are pregnant thoughts. I'm just going to leave you to think about whether, and I hope you don't have these situations, but as businesses grow and change, sometimes they outgrow the performance abilities of the first generation. Sometimes second generation people come into the business without the same motivations, without the same set of talents, and without the same dedication and work ethic. So much for the pregnant thoughts in the one-page handout. On survival and prosperity tips, my biggest tip to all of you, if you don't already do it, is have a team of all or some of the following persons whom you should encourage. Don't worry about the fees that much. It's worth it to confer with each other about you and your business, so they all know what's going on. A business lawyer who concentrates in business law and is interested in you and is readily accessible and timely in response. An accountant experienced in business consulting, business counseling, not just scorekeeping, and is interested in giving you attention. There are many companies now where they're very proficient in using QuickBooks. And I don't need an accountant. I can save money. Consider the fact that an experienced business accountant brings to the table ideas and lessons learned alongside other people like yourself, which may not be industry specific, but can be very helpful in helping you plan for success. And of course, for those companies that still try to do their own payrolls, the perils of not complying timely and properly are too great. Independent payroll services are really the rule of the day. You should have a skilled insurance advisor who comes to see your business once in a while and doesn't just mail it in. You should have a lawyer concentrating in employment law, looking at your manual, updating your manual, creating a manual if you don't have one, doing some training under the law against discrimination, and a hotline when something arises that's a spark that you can confirm what you should do and a spark does not become a conflagration. And where applicable, a lawyer concentrating in intellectual property law, patent, trademark, and trade name and copyright law. A team effort, so you're not flying alone. I think that's the last of what I'm going to discuss with you that's in that outline, survival and prosperity tips. And now to the Mel Len Corporation. First, a mini drama, and then why don't people have buy-sell agreements who have family-owned businesses or other closely held businesses? Okay, Mel, age 63, Len, age 60, brothers and equal owners of the Mel Len Corporation, or the LLC. The remarks are applicable to either form of entity. And the company, 20 years old, still manufactures and sells various products, some of them proprietary and some on special order. They're both very active in the business. They both pull at the oars. One is Mr. Inside, operations, finance, purchasing, and customer relations. The other, Mr. Outside, marketing and sales. Mel has one child. I'm doing alliteration. Michelle. She's not active in the business. Her husband, Barry, has been working for 7 years. Barry has no employment agreement, and his marriage to Michelle is shaky. Aside from someone who works in a 24-hour gas station or 7-Eleven, a son-in-law without a contract is probably the most dangerous occupation in New Jersey. Len has 3 children, 27 and 21. His 2 older children are married, have families, and live in other parts of the country. His youngest child, a son, is studying architecture in college. They both pull down identical and substantial salaries and perks, worth in the aggregate about $300,000 a year. Both families spend most of the monies they get out of the business enjoying the good life, and they have no other sources of income. Neither Mel's wife, Marlene, nor Len's wife, Lenore, has ever been involved in the business. While Mel and Len have always gotten along well, each wife believes her husband is the person most responsible for the company's growth and success, and has hostile feelings about her brother-in-law, principally because she believes he's considerably overpaid. They have personally guaranteed the company's $750,000 term loan for equipment and a $1 million revolver. They have a partnership which owns the real estate and leases it to the company. There's an intercompany lease that's old, 15 years ago, when the partners took out a 20-year non-recourse mortgage loan, and the lease doesn't have any right of renewal. Despite the prodding of the company's accountant, its lawyer, and occasional insurance salesperson, the company does not carry key man insurance. It has no credit life insurance to provide for payment of the bank in case either dies. There is no buy-sell agreement. Neither brother carries any income disability insurance, and the amount of life insurance they carry is only about $250,000 per man. When last urged to have a buy-sell agreement dealing with the possibility that either of them could become disabled or die, Mel and Len got so stuck on the issue of value of the company, they just dropped the subject. Also, when the issue of a mandatory buy-sell in case of death or disability was discussed with Len, he said, well, he wouldn't want this now, just in case his 21-year-old architectural student son might want to come in the business one day. On Mel or Len's disability or death, what's going to happen? Members, let's assume that one of them gets hit by the truck, that unmarked truck, and dies. Let's assume it's Len. How precarious is the position of his son-in-law, Barry? You can answer that one. Well, what's likely to unfold? Well, I'll invent a little mini-drama, and then I'm going to get back to why people don't have buy-sell agreements very often, what the reasons are. Len dies, and Mel is pumping out money every week to the family like he used to pump out. But after a while goes by, he's really got to get somebody to replace his dead brother to pull at the oars. And he asks his trusted advisor, do I still have to do this? He asked his accountant, maybe the trusted advisor, and he said, well, no, legally you don't have to. And while he's conflicted as to whether or not to start to reduce or stop those payments for somebody who is a worker bee, one morning comes back from an appointment that got aborted early, and there's a light on in Len's office, which has been dark since his death. Who's in there? Anybody want to tell me who's in there? Lenore, you got it. And she's there with the controller. And she's going through papers and asking him questions. Oh, by the way, she always thought she had a good head for business. And remember, I told you she didn't trust Mel. Companies like this sometimes implode. We as lawyers, accountants, insurance people, our clients sometimes just don't survive the calamity. But when we try to encourage our clients to enter into agreements dealing with death or long-term disability, we're running into an emotional impediment. People don't like to think about that. They feel immortal. And if they are willing to contemplate it, we run into the following things. Value. What should the price be in case of that? Well, the answer is simple. it's not the value you'd sell the company at in this